Hi guys, it's Abby, and this video is on Mercury and Taurus. So, something I forgot to mention, of course, in the last video is that Mercury in your chart can only ever be in either your sun sign, the sign after it, or the sign before it. So, for example, if you have Sun in Aries, you can only have Mercury in Pisces, Aries, or Taurus. And the reason is because Mercury is never very far away from the sun in the sky. So if you have Mercury in Taurus, the way you think and communicate is, regardless of your sun sign, is very deliberate. You're slower when it comes to learning, when you read things, when you speak, when you form ideas and opinions. They're slower and more deliberate than other people, and you might come across more practical and a bit more stubborn than you really are if, for example, you have Mercury in Taurus but you're actually in Aries or Gemini. If you have Mercury in Taurus and you are a Taurus, you're basically speaking the way you are. But like, I know a Gemini with Mercury in Taurus who can come across way more down to earth than he really is. He's totally a Gemini nutcase, but you wouldn't know that when you're speaking to him necessarily. If you have Mercury in Taurus, you're very concerned with things that you can hear, taste, touch, smell, and see. You're all about your senses, and therefore you are logical when it comes to thinking things through and practical. You're not often taken for flights of fancy or whatever. You can be imaginative, but you're just more about things that you can visually see. So if you're artistic, that's not shocking because Taurus is ruled by Venus, but it's going to be visual things. Also, Mercury and Taurus can be very musical, like beautiful voices, rich, deep tones, sensual tones, and they're much better with like the slower music, things that they can really get into. And with a Taurus, Mercury, practice makes perfect. Like they have to practice. It's not even, they have to do the work. They're not like a Gemini Mercury, which can just do 5,000 things at once, or Mercury in Aries, which can just sort of like wing it and do it like good. They have to like slowly but surely work at something to get it right and to understand it. If they write, they're probably, like, if you have Mercury in Taurus and you're a writer, you're probably a slow writer who follows the same like type of guidelines every time. You do your research, and then you do your brainstorming, and then you do your notes, and then you do like your copy, and then you do your like first draft. Like, you don't mess with your own style. What works for you. Don't broke it if it's, don't fix it if it's not broken. Like, that's Mercury and Taurus. And they're all about like practicality, so they're great with money. Like, they're very good with finances. If you have Mercury and Taurus, you're probably really smart with money, or at least you sound like you are. Like, you might not actually be very good with money. You might be in Aries and it just blows through your fingers, but finances. You just do. Like, you understand concepts, and you understand like property and real estate things. You're probably really interested in that sort of thing. Investments, things that like give you tangible material value in this world. You're good at. I knew an Aries with Mercury and Taurus who used to follow like the value of gold from the time he was a little kid. I was like, what interest did you have in that? That is the most boring thing I could ever think about. He had Moon in Taurus, I think, too. But he used to just follow that because it gave him pleasure to learn about things of value. And if you have Mercury in Taurus retrograde, you might actually be like have a learning disability, or be told that you do from a young age, because Mercury retrograde in the chart, it's only about 20% of people, 18 to 20%, actually have retrograde in their chart. But if you have it in Taurus, you're going to be even slower to speak. They might think you have like a speech impediment or not be able to learn language when you're young, because it's going to take you extra long to speak, because you're sort of like inside, you're kind of taking your time to put together what language means to you and how you can express yourself. So you might not speak for a long time if you have Mercury retrograde in the chart in Taurus. And when you do communicate, it might be more like art or music. You know, you might be more comfortable communicating through singing, because Taurus rules the vocal cords. So it just might make more sense to you to do that, or to like mold things and like create like art out of, you know, like sculpting things. You know, you like physical things that you can manipulate and create with. So that's going to be really helpful. Like if you have children with Mercury retrograde in Taurus, give them modeling clay. Encourage them to like sing, because that's going to help them to release the things that they need to in order to get their communication going. And all your life you're going to be good at that, and you might actually have a career in something like that, because it's really, once you have, this goes for all Mercury and Taurus, once you've made up your mind on something, like that's it. You're very, very stubborn when it comes to your ideas. And when you learn something, you learn it forever. You're never going to forget it, which is great, because, you know, that's very useful. But you have to learn at your own pace, so don't push yourself ever. Like, learn at your own pace, but it helps to realize that you have to be flexible in this world too. Other people have different styles of learning, and other people don't. They might get stuck in a rut if they're doing things the same way every time like you do, because you love that sense of like security that comes from having like a system. You're very systematic, but other people might not be. So it helps to have that sort of understanding that other people are different, but it's okay. You know, it doesn't make them bad. Taurus can get frustrated with people, I think, when they go too fast, or, you know, if they feel like they're being like rushed, they hate it. So, because then they start to get their control freak on, because Taurus can be a control freak. So that's Mercury and Taurus. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them, and thank you so much for watching.